One thing I've learned in life is that there comes a point where we could all use somebody. Someone to lift us off the ground when we fall down. Someone to get us back on the right path when we fall off track. Someone to be honest with us, reliable, dependable. Someone to be a true friend. Today I'm going to commemorate a very special human being. Someone that not only tremendously impacted my life, but also greatly impacted the lives of many others. That individual is Kevin Curtis Beach. Now, it was a Monday, August the 13th, 2001. The summer was coming to a close. The school semester was coming to a near. Kevin and his good friend Jordan had a discussion. Let's close the summer out with a memorable moment. They decided, let's take a road trip from Omaha, Nebraska to Kansas City, Missouri. Let's go to Worlds of Fun. So they left bright and early that Monday morning, arrived at Worlds of Fun. As soon as it opened, they spent all day riding the roller coasters multiple times, walking all around the park, laughing, joking, having fun like best friends do. Eventually, they decided they needed to get back to Omaha, so they left early that evening, got in the vehicle. Kevin sat down in the passenger seat, put his seatbelt on, leaned his seat back, went to sleep. When Kevin awoke, he was in a hospital. His friend Jordan had lost control of the vehicle. Kevin suffered a C5 and C6 spinal cord injury. He became quadriplegic, never to walk again. He had limited use of his arms, no use of his fingers. They were like this. Now, Kevin knew it was going to be tough because his whole life he had been very independent. He had just turned 21 2 months prior to the accident. And growing up, he loved to play soccer, he rode motorcycles, he had a job since 16, 17 years old. So he knew adjusting to this new life was going to be very difficult. With several years of rehab, he eventually regained his driving privileges. Not in the sense that any of us drive. He had a lift system that would get him into the van. He'd roll in, his wheelchair would lock into the floorboard, and he would use levers to drive. With this new form of independence, Kevin had an opportunity to do more. So one thing he did is he went to hospitals, specifically KU Medical Center, and he would speak to newly injured patients that had suffered C5 and C6 spinal cord injuries. He would give them hope that, you know, it's tough. I know you're laying in this bed and it seems like the world is not worth living. But it is. There's hope. Stay strong. He would educate them on what his life was like with his new form of life, what they should expect with this injury. He made a lot of friends doing that, several friends doing that. Kevin had a way of bringing people in. But he didn't limit his impact there. He joined an organization called Think First. He would go around the Kansas City metropolitan area, and he spoke at over 180 schools to over 69,000 children about prevention of C5, C6 spinal cord injuries. Also, he would speak about how they occur. He would educate them. His biggest plea was to wear your seatbelt, because he was told if he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he wouldn't have survived. He also gave them motivation to be better, to think first, to be smart. He provided them inspiration that no matter how tough times get, never give up. Now, I didn't meet Kevin until after his accident, but when I met him, it was the exact time I needed to meet him. He was the somebody that I had been looking for. See, somewhere along my early adolescent years, I had fallen off track and I lost focus of who I was. I started doing things that went against the morals and values that my family had instilled in me. I went down a dark alley, picked up a shovel, started digging myself a deep, dark hole. By the time I realized what I was doing, I couldn't seem to find a way out. When I met Kevin in 2006, 5 years after his injury, I had been in 3 group homes, 2 juvenile correctional facilities, and juvenile detention center more than a dozen times. I wanted to change. I knew I was better than the choices I was making. I just couldn't find a way out. Kevin shared his story with me about Worlds of Fun and how his friend had lost control of the vehicle, and it immediately impacted me. I'm sitting here feeling sorry for myself, and I'm the one who dug my hole. I made these bad choices. Kevin wasn't driving. It was his friend that was driving. But he didn't blame his friend. He didn't hold animosity towards his friend. Yet I was blaming the whole world and blaming myself for all the choices I was making. Kevin taught me a lot, and I immediately wanted to be around him. He had this big, bright smile and this positive, vibrant attitude that just made you want to be around him. I was intrigued by him. So we started doing everything together. We went to Chiefs games, Royals games. He loved his family. He had to come over and watch the UFC fights. Family was extremely important to him. He taught me a lot. One of those things is about forgiveness. In order to move along in life, you have to forgive other people, and you definitely have to forgive yourself. You can't beat yourself up over mistakes that you made, or if someone does you harm, forgive them, move past it. That's one thing he taught me. He taught me about acceptance. That no matter what situation you get into, if someone else puts you in it, you put it in yourself, you have to accept your situation. It'll make it easier to deal with it. It'll make it easier to move along. Kevin taught me a lot about life, about friends, people, family. There's no doubt in my mind that he was the somebody I had been looking for. He was the hand that had reached down in that hole that I dug, and he lifted me out, put me on my feet, but he didn't stop there. He acted as my GPS or my compass to get me back on track. He was the friend that I had been looking for. He was the friend that I needed. There's no doubt in my mind that Kevin made a tremendous impact on my life, the children he spoke to at schools, the newly injured patients he spoke to at hospitals. But Kevin made an impact on anyone that took the time to hear his story. They felt his energy, they felt his attitude, and his will to never give up. So what I hope is that if not everyone has an opportunity to have somebody like Kevin in your life, be somebody like Kevin. Lend a helping hand. Be somebody that sets a good example. Be somebody that thinks first, and most importantly, be somebody that never gives up. Thanks, Kevin.